I hope it'll hold on. And if you see me moving things around a little bit here, it's just that I'm trying to keep the computer cool with a little bit of extra wind fanning onto the computer. So now what I want to do is we'll share the screen and we will go and get this one here and we will go to there and let's have a look. The dream of a new home. Yep. How about that? Now, just imagine, you know, you have one of those brother-in-laws who goes, I wouldn't get into your pyramid thing with all the money in China. Well, in a couple of years, 2 or 3 years' time, you could say, listen, we're having a housewarming party. We moved. Come around to our home, sweet home. Something like that might be nice. That could be good. And, of course, you might like a more contemporary style home. And the pool, well, it's heated all year round. I think that'd be a nice place to have an opportunity meeting or a leadership meeting or anything really. Sit down and have a cold beer. I don't care. I think that'd be nice. That'd be just lovely. And, of course, everybody needs a country retreat, a little home out in the country. Nice little dam out the front full of perch. A few yabbies in there, perhaps. That'd be nice. You see, all these things are possible. We never go looking for them because we don't dream outside our financial circle. Why don't we do that? Well, it hurts. It's a reminder of where we're not. And we don't like that. But until we stretch our mind, what's the old saying? A mind stretched to a new dimension can never return. There's the beach. Hutchie, there you go, mate. All right, the office at the beach. Sitting there with your laptop, look at that. Guess what? Guess why he's going like this? Yes, I just broke 5 new consultants this week. God, that feels good. And, of course, one of my dreams is I've always wanted to go and see the Northern Lights, the aurora of the Northern Lights. And this would be in Thailand somewhere, anywhere really. And you can see by the little ribbons on the front, there's just a soft breeze blowing. You know, that sand looks fairly keen. And if we're going to dare to dream, then we better dare to do. And by the size of the look of that place, we could probably have a leadership meeting there as well. Mastermind group. You see, all these places, all these things, all these experiences, they are possible. They are possible. It's all possible. The biggest trick is convincing ourselves that our world can expand past where we currently are. So, what I'd like to do tonight is I'm not going to run a video. I'm not going to do any of that stuff. What I am going to do is I want to share the screen again in Team FSI's back office. Because you see, in building a network, all we ever do is we head up a group of volunteers. Everybody in your network is a volunteer. And we need to become the sort of person that other people follow on a voluntary basis. Now, my mum used to have a great saying. Either like me or lump me, take me the way I am. Now, my mum was a reasonably nice lady until you ticked her off. My school teacher found that out. She hospitalised him. Right? But what happens is in life, we can't go through life telling people like me or lump me and try and build a big network. We have to learn some few interpersonal skills. We have to learn about personal development. And when we think about the term personal development, imagine this. You want to get on a plane now, and who's been on a plane and flown overseas? Anybody done that? Yep, got up there. They come around, they bring you a cold beer or a sandwich or something, and yep, they got the air conditioner going and the music and watching a movie or something on the screen, right? Whatever, right? Anybody ever travel business class? Done a business class run? Yep, okay. That's a tad nicer. You get nicer glassware, you get more room to stretch your legs out, you get better food, better everything, to be honest, right? Now just imagine if there had not been any development in air travel and they wanted to take you from here to Sydney in a Tiger Moth. What do you think the service would be like? There'd be no screen, there'd be no music, there'd be no yummies, right? They developed the aviation industry, and the word development means to improve. Now, if you go back and you look at, say, a T-model Ford as an example, great little car, wouldn't want to drive to Darwin in it today, right? Would not want to drive to Darwin in it, right? However, a nice Bentley could be okay, you know, V12 Bentley, tick along pretty good, pretty comfortable, real nice, right? That is because the automotive industry has developed, improved over time. You and I, how much energy, how much effort, how many dollars have we tipped into us to develop, improve over time the commodity called you, called me? You see, if we want more, in some ways we need to get a little bit better because we've got what we've got because that's where we're at. Now, sometimes there's some external circumstances that were a bit beyond your control or whatever that may put you where you are. Then become the sort of person who can move further forward than where you are. Don't be content to stay. Don't be content to stay. Now, personal development, if we want to earn a big income, we have to become better at having people follow us on a voluntary basis and listen to what we say, as we can lead them in the right direction. We don't want to lead people in the wrong direction. We want to lead people in the right direction. And so we stick with fundamentals. So let's have a little bit of a share of the screen here. And let me find this bit here. All right. Now, this is in the team support side, and it's under personal development down here, under personal development, right? Now, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, right? Now, this book has been credited by many people as being the foundational book that literally thousands of people have been based on, the success of thousands of people have been based on a formula that has enabled millions of people to become successful. It was written after 20 years of research, during which time Napoleon Hill interviewed more than 500 exceedingly wealthy men. Think and Grow Rich is free to download because it's now in the public domain, right? And so in doing that, hang on a second, guys. In doing that, what we need to do is download it and use it, right? Now, Trevor's gone and put this up here. This one here, I'm not going to go through all this, but this is a 2-hour download of a synopsis of the book, Think and Grow Rich, with inserts and speeches from Napoleon Hill inserted in there as well. So it's an audio thing, or it's on YouTube. This one here, I'm going to play a little bit of this, right? This is really interesting. So let's have a listen to this. Now, Paul, I think you're not on mute at the moment, mate. Can you just mute? You can't mute? Okay. All righty, no dramas. All right, let's just go here. We'll play this.
Chapter 5. Autosuggestion. The medium for influencing the subconscious mind. The third step toward riches. Autosuggestion is a term that applies to all suggestions and all self-administered stimuli that reach your mind through the 5 senses. Stated in another way, autosuggestion is self-suggestion. It is the way of communicating between that part of the mind where conscious thought takes place and that which serves as the seat of action for the subconscious mind. Through the dominating thoughts that you permit to remain in your conscious mind, it doesn't matter whether these thoughts are negative or positive. The principle of autosuggestion reaches the subconscious mind and influences it with these thoughts. Nature has built human beings so that we can have control over the material that reaches our subconscious mind through our 5 senses. However, this does not mean that we always exercise this control. In the great majority of instances, we do not exercise it, which explains why so many people go through life in poverty. Recall what I said about the subconscious mind resembling a fertile garden, in which weeds will grow if the seeds of more desirable crops are not sown. Autosuggestion is the way you may feed your subconscious on creative thoughts. Or you can, by neglecting it, permit thoughts of a destructive nature to find their way into this rich garden of the mind. Editor's comments.
All right.
Numerous psychological studies.
So, I just find that really interesting. And when you think about what he just said, the seeds fall into fertile soil. What we need to look at is that's why we dream build. That's why we use affirmations. That's why we go out and look at the houses and look at the cars, and we want to get these pictures imprinted into our mind. That's why we have vision boards and goal statements, right? Because if not, we'll just let any random thought just bog in there and take root. It could be a thistle, could be a dockweed, could be any of those sorts of things. And then we become the result of those random negative thoughts. Whereas if we actually take control of what we allow to go in, and that's by listening to audios like that, reading books, listening to YouTube, positive mental attitude clips, all that sort of stuff. It's absolutely vital to success, right? And when you read Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, and the other one, How to Win Friends and Influence People, those 2 books are probably the most foundational self-esteem building, personal building books on the planet. Now, we've probably, a lot of us have read them, but we forgot what we read. It was a while back. And so even if we've read them before, we need to reread them. We need to re-listen to them. I've got a book on my phone at the moment. I'll dig it out for you. Where is it? It's here. No, not in that folder. God, I got folders on my phone now. Can you imagine that? Like, fair dinkum, this is just bizarre how much stuff you can put on a phone. Oh, where did it go? There. And this is really amazing. Can you see that? No, you can't see that. Wait a minute. Let me just open that up. You probably can't read it. What it says is How to Raise Your Own Salary by Napoleon Hill. And you sit there and think, I don't want a salary. I'm an entrepreneur. I don't want a job where they give me a salary. This book is the least read book that Napoleon Hill ever wrote. But in there, he's interviewing Carnegie, and Carnegie is giving him all the principles that made the Carnegie fortune, and how to implement it, and how it's just staggering what's in it. Now, I haven't promoted it yet because Trevor's got all this other stuff we're promoting, and the Jimmy Smith 7-day challenge. Who's on the Jimmy Smith 7-day challenge? Yo, fantastic. And once we get through that, I'll then give you the link to download that book. It's an audio book. You can just listen to it as you drive along or whatever. But, oh my golly, is it good? Because what we're wanting to do, and you didn't hear this from me, okay? But based on performance, Trevor is going to put together a mastermind group. Right? Now, if we want the sort of life that the ISA millionaires have got, we need to become the sort of people that the ISA millionaires are. Now, in the back office, in not the back office, in Team FSI, in there where under personal development, there's the EFT stuff for tapping, for getting rid of fears and phobias and anxieties and all that sort of stuff. We need to make use of the tools that are there for us personally. We need to make use of the tools for what everybody else has got, like to lead everybody else and do all that. But if we don't keep us right, we can't help the next person. So you spend the majority on yourself, because if your tank's empty, you can't give it to someone else. Okay? If you're running on empty, you've got nothing to give anyone else. And so the key here is that in Trevor's system, and like it's free, it costs you nothing. We've got access to EFT. We've got all this Napoleon Hill stuff, and there will be reams more stuff come through into that little tab down the bottom down there. And it's all there for you to help you achieve your dream, your goal, right? And that's what this is all about. It's a business of personal development that happens to have a product, and it pays money, right? And it pays money. Now, I'll tell you a little story. On Monday, I went to one of these free seminars in Adelaide, and it was all about how to sell online. And I knew there'd be a hook at the end of it. I wasn't there for that. I was there to see who I could meet. I thought everybody in that room's got to be in the looking zone, so I might as well be there and see what I can rustle up. Well, it's interesting. I only got to speak to two blokes, right? One real briefly and the other a bit more extensively. And I've been on the phone and sent an email to the guy I spoke to real briefly today. He'll get in next week. And it turns out he's the twin brother of a bloke I knew about 10 years ago. They're amazing. Absolutely amazing. And so anyway, he's pretty keen. And the other guy, I think he'll get in, but he's got a real interesting story. And if he gets in, I'll get him on one night to tell you the story. He was the Australian manager of a opposition multi-level company. And he got a bit disillusioned with that mob. And anyway, he's got a heck of a story. And he said, I think the reason I came here today was to bump into you. And I thought, yep, that'll do. Now, here's what happened. On the Sunday, I said to Corinne, I said, I don't think I'll bother going. I said, I know what it's going to be like, and it's just going to be, it'll just annoy the socks off me. And then I thought a little while later, I thought, oh, no, I probably should go. And during the evening, I had this toing and froing in my own mind. Got up Monday morning and said, no, that's it. I'm not going to go. And Corinne said, well, why not? I said, I don't know. I don't know whether I can be bothered. And I said, oh, all right, I'll go. Now, what happened was it was at 12:30. It was going to go for 2 hours. And I had an appointment for a haircut at my daughter-in-law's afterwards. So I thought, I'll just take the car down to Salisbury. I'll jump on the train at Salisbury. When it's finished, I'll jump on the train, come back to Salisbury and drive up to Golden Grove from there. Well, got on the train at Salisbury. That was great. Train only went as far as Mawson Lakes. Track's being ripped up. And I thought, blow it. Just walk around the other side of the damn station, get on the train and go back to Salisbury. This is all too hard. I had to catch a bus into town. I thought, well, I'm here. So, all right, catch the bus. Well, the bus took the scenic route, and that was all right. Finally got off the bus, walking down towards the hotel, and I thought, hey, this is pretty interesting. I just got off this bus at a random bus stop. I don't know the bus system in Adelaide. I got no idea what bus to catch to get back to Mawson Lakes. I thought, we'll figure something out. And anyway, get in there and I meet these two guys. How many opportunities did I have not to go? Plenty. But that little nagging voice said, oh no, go and do it. So let me tell you this, if you've got a hunch going on, if you've got a little nagging voice in there, follow that nagging voice, follow that hunch. Just follow that hunch, right? Because the hunch is what will get you somewhere you need to be. And so if you're thinking, oh, look, I should contact Bill or Mary, do it. Don't do it tomorrow. Do it tonight. Oh, yeah, but it'll be late. No, it doesn't matter. Just do it. All right? Now, if we have a look at how Isagenix works structurally, it's got a left leg and a right leg, correct? And you do not participate in the bonus structure until you are a consultant, correct? And a consultant is you've got somebody on your left and somebody on your right underneath you. Why wouldn't you do that real fast? If that's the opening of the money, why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you put one on the left, one on the right real quick? It just makes good sense. Now, some of you have got points piling up in your points bank, and all you got to do is get one on the left, one on the right, and that'll open up a big points bank for you. Start paying monies. You see, the mental picture we have of ourselves determines the amount of income that we believe is acceptable to us. We need to expand the mental picture of who and what we are so as that we can expand the financial income expectation that's acceptable to us. How do we do that? It's called personal development. We dream build, we read the books, we listen to the tapes, we listen to the CDs and whatever else is coming your way. And let me put it to you this way. You know how we've just had this new release of if you sponsor 5 people in January or 5 people in December, and they're doing 190 BV, you get an extra $200. Yeah? You've seen that? Everybody's seen that? Give me a nod or a wave or whatever. Yep. Okay, good. Righto. Well, that's not bad. Right? Because everybody on tonight could, I know you could, if you went out and sponsored another 5 people, it'd all help, it'd all work. But let me tell you this. There's a whisper on the grapevine that after January, at the beginning of February, if you were to go and try and play that game in these 2 months, you will be so glad you did. If you don't, you'll be so ticked that you didn't. Right? You see, I'm not the sharpest tool in the tin. And I've got a few people sponsored. Why do you think it is that I'm out sponsoring new personals? Why do you think I'm doing that? Right? I don't know exactly, but I know that what's coming in February it'll benefit everybody, but it will benefit those who actually crank it up through December and January and have got new personals in there and starting to move. I will guarantee you London to a brick if you just get out there and just burn this thing up. By the time they release that program in February, you're going to say, oh man, Tim was right. This is fabulous. This is amazing. And if you don't, you're going to sit there and go, oh no, why didn't I listen? Oh, right. I tell you, it's going to get hot, guys. The heat's going to rise. I was up in Mildura last night, and we've got some excited people up there that are about to cut loose. And yeah, I tell you what. Oh, and Pete Benson, for your information, the gentleman who I mentioned before about who was the manager of a multi-level, his number one person in sales in that company in Australia, who is no longer with the company, she lives in Geelong. So no pressure, mate. I'm just giving you a heads up, right? So you know, I don't, you know, it's up to you, mate. I'm not putting any pressure on you. But I'd hate you to rock up to a seminar and see 4 or 5 of your mates there in her group, you know. You understand what I mean, don't you? Yeah. And, you know, February's coming. So what I'm going to suggest is this. How about we change what we do a little bit? If you've got time where perhaps you might sit down and watch telly for a couple of hours of a night, I still watch telly. But give yourself a half an hour of listening to a download that Trev's put up. Listen to Jimmy Smith. Listen to Napoleon Hill. Develop the person. Help the person become better. Write out the affirmations. Get emotional about your goals and your dreams. You know, those pictures that I showed, you know, I happen to like the look of that first house, but I also like the look of the pool on the second house. But whatever it is, if you're looking, if you think a nice new house or whatever it be, write down in emotional terms how you would feel when you move in to that new house. The smell of all the new carpets, the magnificent views out the windows, the entertaining areas, how good you're going to feel. It just feels so good to walk into my cinema room and sit down there, and I've got 20 seats up the back of the room on a step-stair basis for my friends to come and watch movies with my Bang & Olufsen sound system. And it's in a soundproof room. I'm so fired up, staggering. I stand on the edge of that pool and just turn my back on it and fall backwards into the most beautiful crystal clear water. It's just refreshing to know that I've done it. Put things in emotional terms, right? You are an emotional creature. I am an emotional creature. We respond and react to emotions. We react, that's a negative term. We respond, that's a positive term. So we write in positive emotional terms so as that we respond internally to that, which then compels us to go and get it. We've got the tools, we've got the vehicle, we've got the financial basis to be able to do it. All it's now needing is the fuel and the energy that you bring to the table. You know, I was talking to a guy the other day and he took me and showed me inside his shed. I'm glad Chesney's not on tonight. He's still at karate. This guy's got 2 GD Falcon shakers, phase 3 shakers sitting in his shed. Right? Yeah, good on you, Dino. And, you know, it's amazing what people have got out there. Last night in Mildura, this young bloke was showing me his street machines, his drift machines. You know, he's got these Hondas and Toyotas and these things have got, you know, turbochargers on them bigger than Kenworth trucks. And it's just amazing. And one of them's got rubber just dripping off the back quarter panels on it. It's just old rubber just hanging on there that he smoked off his tyres. He loves it. Right? It's just amazing what dreams are out there. We've all got dreams. But if you don't go out and expand your mind to what's possible for you, then you won't know what your dream is. Now, if you don't think you're at that level yet, get in and do some EFT, learn about the EFT, and do some tapping to help you overcome whatever that negative emotional block is, to help you move past that to open up a whole new world. There's a whole new world out there. And I can't think of any better and more deserving people than what I'm looking at on this screen. I just don't, I can't find them. You guys deserve this more than anybody else. You really do. And I believe you can do it. But the trouble is, me believing that you can do it's not quite enough. You got to believe. You got to believe that you are worthy. You deserve to be able to not have a job to go to. You've got to be worthy and deserve the sort of house that you dream of, or the sort of car that you dream of, the sort of life. Imagine your perfect day. I don't know what your perfect day is, but one of my perfect days would go something like this. Get up reasonably early and not sleep in too much. Get up reasonably early, about 7:30. Go down to the kitchen, have a nice cup of tea. After my cup of tea, have a shake. After I've had the shake, go and have a shower. After the shower, get dressed. Go out to the shed. Open up the shed. And inside that shed, you've got a polished concrete floor that's sealed with a mirror finish. Up on the walls, you've got some of the most rarest posters, automotive posters that you can collect. On the floor, you've got quite a number of really, 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 really nice cars. Some old, some not so old, and some brand new. Pick up the phone, ring 2 people for a start. One, the man that comes and washes the cars, because I don't want to drive a dirty one. I want the dust off it. So he'll have to come around, and by the time he gets there, I'll figure out which one I want to drive. 2, Second guy come around, he's the mechanic. I got a job for him. I've always got a job for him. There's a project out in the back of the shed, down in a separate little area where I've got a full-blown workshop with all the tools, the hoist, the whole lot. And then the second phone call I make is to one of you guys. Hey, we're going for a cruise. I'm taking out the Bentley. You want to come for the day? Or are you busy? Oh, why are you taking the Bentley? If you were going in the Tirana, I'd come. But guys, whatever the dream is, and then just go cruising for the day. Just go cruising, nowhere in particular. And the only reason we want to go cruising is because we can. And I like the tone of the exhaust pipe, and I want to listen to it for a few hours. I'd like to cruise through a couple of tunnels where I can just back it down a gear or two and boot it and listen to it just roar. Pull up somewhere, go and have coffee. See some kid just goggle-eyed looking at this thing and say to him and his dad, jump in, we'll go for a drive, and throw dad the keys and let his dad drive it. You know why I do that? I want to build a dream in A, his dad, and B, in his boy or his girl. Doesn't matter. Everything we do, we've got to build a dream. Come home, middle of the afternoon, might go for a swim, might sit down and read, might even take a nap. But I got a meeting to do that night. Got to go to work. Have to do a meeting for the Europeans that night. So we've got a meeting for the Canadians the next night. Guys, how big can you dream? Small dreams do not stir the blood. Big dreams stir the blood of human beings. Build big dreams. Big dreams start with small steps. One small step at a time. Go consultant. Sponsor 2 people doing 100 points. Then what do? Tell them, go consultant. Sponsor 2 people at 100 points. What do you do then? Tell each of them, help them. Go consultant. If you ripped into it, if you really, really knew what was coming in February, you wouldn't even be on this call tonight. Right? You wouldn't. You'd be on the phone. You'd be out at your mate's place. You'd be out somewhere showing somebody something. If you knew what was coming in February, it is going to blow your mind, or it's going to tick you off. What you do between now and the end of January is entirely up to you. Like I said when I started, we're all volunteers. Nobody has to do anything. But for those who do, dreams do come true. Guys, I'm going to stop the recording.